We now return to Keep Out on Modern Marvels. If you have something to protect, you'll do whatever you can to keep out intruders. Guards, fences, cameras, lights, barriers, and signs all help to keep trespassers out. But what if you're trying to keep the wrong people out of a restricted area while allowing the right people easy access? Companies are looking to biometrics to easily separate the unwanted from the wanted.
Biometrics is a means of identifying an individual based on a physical attribute or biological attribute.
The idea of systematic screening by identifying unique body features like broken noses or tattoos has been around for millennia. 4,000 years ago, Babylonians used fingerprints on tablets to close business deals. But the attacks on 9/11 created a greater need for biometric securities. This led to the establishment of Biometric Services International in Morgantown, West Virginia, a subsidiary of the National Biometric Security Project.
Biometrics is the highest form of security technology that you can currently provide.
One form of biometric security gaining popularity is facial recognition. While already a popular way to find and identify criminals, it's being adapted for doors and locks.
This is a 3D facial recognition device. This right here is the enrollment station. You would see something much like this on the door if you were coming in to verify, but this would be your initial stop in the process.
Enrollment allows each device to recognize the face of the user to authorize access. On the facial recognition device, enrollment means merely getting your picture taken.
Obviously focuses on the eyes, on the brow, nose, mouth, and chin. And what it will do, will take measurements in between these points.
The computer selects different points on your face and develops a map between them, converting them into a numerical string or code. This creates a template that the computer will use to identify the person trying to pass.
So from then on, when you present your face to this device, you stare at yourself for a split second and you're in.
While this device uses several points on the face to identify the user, this one uses only the eye.
Over here, we have an iris recognition system. It basically takes a picture of your iris. It will make, again, a numerical representation of your iris, and then store that.
Much like a fingerprint, each iris is unique. It has splits, swirls, and different breakpoints that the computer measures and maps, similar to the facial recognition program. All the user must do from then on is stand in the right spot, and access is granted.
Identification is completed.
This is how you would see it installed anywhere that was using this technology, be it at the Department of Defense, at your average office installation.
But don't try to fool this system with a stolen eyeball.
This does have a liveness detection system in it. It will check to make sure that the iris in front of it is actually alive.
One of the most widely recognized biometrics is fingerprint recognition. Identifying fingerprints dates back to the late 19th century. By the 1920s, fingerprints were used by law enforcement, the U.S. military, and the FBI as a means of identification. Using a fingerprint as a way to determine who gets in and who is kept out works the same way as the iris recognition device.
This will look at the ridge patterns on your fingerprints, where this one ends, where this one ends, where these two split right here. That could be a place for a marking point. What you basically do, you come up to the device, present your fingerprint to it, it looks at the ridge patterns, determine if it's a match within the system, and then lets you in the door.
Want your system super secure? Try a 3-factor fingerprint identification device.
How the system works, you'll come up, you'll insert your card in here, you'll enter your PIN number here. The PIN number will be the PIN number that matches on the card, and then it will prompt you to put your fingerprint on the sensor down here. And then if all those things match up, it will go ahead and grant you access.
This system uses a smart card that features a memory chip containing a biometric template of the user. The fingerprint must match the template. Only then will the user gain access. By the way, don't get any ideas about using someone else's finger while it's not on their hand. Much like the iris scanner, these systems also feature liveness detection. All these devices rely on physical patterns that can be seen on the body. But what about a device that sees patterns on the inside of the body?
This is a vein recognition system that we have in front of us here. What this technology does is it does go through the skin. It does use an infrared light to read the actual veins going through your hand, and it will use those as its pattern.
Like the facial and iris recognition devices, this uses the pattern to create a numerical code to grant access to the user.
It is sort of like a hidden key.
Biometrics may guarantee that the right people are getting in and the wrong people are being kept out, but this level of security can come with a high price tag. That's why many look to companies like MasterLock to make sure they can keep out intruders.
It starts with an understanding that when a homeowner buys a lock for their front door or back door, what they're really buying is security for their home. And I guess even more specifically, what they're buying is peace of mind.
For many, that peace of mind comes from a deadbolt on the door. But when you need to keep people out of something other than your home, you may look to a couple other MasterLock products.
One of the products that MasterLock is most well known for is our laminated padlock. The laminated padlock is a keyed lock. The strength of the padlock comes from the layers of high-quality steel that are stacked together to provide extreme protection against physical attack.
Attacks like the one shown in their famous 1974 Super Bowl commercial.
The Tough Under Fire commercial featured an expert marksman using a .308 caliber rifle and firing a bullet through the center of this laminated lock.
Master locks are tough under fire.
This strength begins with the process of stacking specific stamp pieces together.
Inside each one of these lock bodies is approximately 24 plates. What we have here is the progression of the tool. The first operation being the piercing of the rivet holes, then the octagonal shackle holes, and further down the line we get into some of the internal components of the lock. So one lock laminate sticks to the next laminate. At the end of the day, what's happening is these things are being stacked together like Legos, essentially.
After MasterLock constructs the body, they assemble the internal components.
The very first thing that we're doing is we're loading the plug.
6 pins are loaded into the plug to set the combination of the lock.
All told, there's about 250,000 different combinations that we can make on this machine, given all the pin combinations that we have. Over on the right side of the machine, we're loading the brass shell onto the machine. It indexes to the next station. It loads the 6 springs, and after that it indexes again. It loads the 6 driver pins. At the center of the machine, we push the shell onto the plug, marry the two together, and this is the completed cylinder. All told, there are 20 different components inside this cylinder. 6 driver pins, 6 tumbler pins, 6 springs, a shell, and a plug.
The user inserts the key to open the lock. The notches on the key align the pins, allowing the cylinder to turn and open the lock. MasterLock puts their locks to the test to make sure that they don't fail. They bend, cut, hammer, and pull on their locks to see just how strong they are. They even test against the forces of Mother Nature.
One of the tests we subject our products to is weather resistance. So test methods that replicate salt spray, oceanic type coastal climates, we subject our products to.
But padlocks aren't the only devices that MasterLock is famous for. They also produce a rotary dial combination lock.
Most consumers have their first experience with the MasterLock brand in that it is the most widely used locker lock in schools and institutions today.
At their manufacturing plant in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they produce nearly 4.5 million combination locks a year.
Each lock consists of about 20 different components. All 20 components that go into this lock are manufactured here in Milwaukee from the auto press department behind me. They all get fed into this machine through a combination of probably 40 stations, and one part at a time gets assembled into the lock until it finally comes off the end as a finished, tested lock.
This machine turns out a lock every 2 seconds, producing about 18,000 combination locks a day. But it does more than just put them together. It also makes sure they work.
One of the unique features of this machine is its ability to be able to understand the combination, auto dial, test, open and close, all within the two.
Whether it's a deadbolt on your door or a padlock on your garage, a strong lock can mean the difference in someone getting in or being kept out. But what happens when they get through those locks and you need to protect yourself while inside your house? That's where Safe Zone Inc. comes in. They specialize in a last line of defense called a safe room. Safe rooms protect against natural threats like tornadoes and hurricanes, but are especially effective keeping out intruders.
What we have here is the actual safe room. The safe room is basically the master bedroom closet. It's their wardrobe area. So you can see how we've actually fit in to the existing aesthetics of the room, the safe room. Here we have the bullet-resistant and intrusion material on the walls. We've also installed it on the door frame itself. And then, as you can tell, we've done a button in case the door was taken off its hinge for a panic device to activate this. We'll have cameras in here. We have an alarm panel in here.
Once the door is shut, the owner can activate a series of different alarm mechanisms, such as panic or fire. When triggered, the alarm system sends out a distress call to police or rescue agencies.
The entire key for a safe room is to really give that person time before the authorities or the troops come to help save that person.
Safe Zone makes their safe rooms as inconspicuous as possible.
We really don't want the intruder to know it's a safe room. In other words, if that burglar comes in, or if there's a threat of kidnapping, that type of thing, we don't want them to know that it's any different construction than the rest of the house.
Safe Zone estimates that over XX thousand Americans have safe rooms. The numbers are growing by XX thousands a year. Reinforced walls and a bulletproof door ensure that no one gets in this room. But to control a 2,000-mile border, you may need a bit more. The FBI's fingerprint database is the largest in the world. They receive 34,000 new fingerprint cards every day. Keep Out will return on Modern Marvels.